HTC just introduced the HTC One, the company's new flagship phone, and we're taking a look at how it compares to some of the best phones currently on the market. So the big thing here obviously is the screen. The One has a 4.7-inch 1080p display, which at 468 pixels per inch is as high res as we've seen on a smartphone ever. Other 1080p screens we've seen have all been larger, 5 inches like the Sony Xperia Z. And similar size screens, 4.7 or 4.8 inches, have all been 720p like the Galaxy S3 and the Nexus 4. So this adds a whole new level of resolution. The phone's still almost the exact same size as most of its competition. It's a little taller and thinner than the Galaxy S3 and slightly taller than the Nexus 4. But basically, it's a big phone, like most Android phones these days. And that makes the iPhone 5, which is smaller and still relatively high res, feel really different. In terms of raw processing power, this is as good a phone as we've ever seen. It runs Qualcomm's latest Snapdragon 600 processor, which is a quad-core chip that's an upgrade over the S4, which is inside the Galaxy S3, and even over the still pretty new S4 Pro inside the Nexus 4 and the Xperia Z. It's also clocked a little faster than its competition, but that's not as important a number in a smartphone. It comes with 2 gigs of RAM and either 32 or 64 gigs of internal storage, which is as high or higher than all of its competition. The One comes with all the standard Android phone trappings. It has LTE, Bluetooth 4.0, and all that. One definite advantage it has is an IR blaster inside its power button, which you can use as a remote for your TV. There aren't a lot of phones that have that. HTC also talked a lot about the camera on the One. And interestingly, this is one place where HTC kind of loses big on specs, but it's hoping that doesn't matter. Whereas the Nexus 4, the iPhone 5, and the Galaxy S3 all have 8 megapixel cameras, and the Xperia Z goes all the way to 13.1. The HTC has a grand total of 4 megapixels. Of course, HTC is calling them ultra-pixels and claims that they're far better than anything else out there, but it's really betting big on software while the others are using more normal camera specs. Generally, on paper, the One looks as good as any Android phone we've seen yet, but as always with Android phones, and HTC phones in particular, we're gonna have to put the battery, the software, and its hardware to the test before we decide for sure. The phone's coming out around the world soon, and it'll be on Sprint, AT&T, and T-Mobile in the US. We'll keep you posted once we get one to test out for real.